Hi, and welcome to my TED Talk. My name is Hua Pan, and today we'll be telling you all about optogenetics. I will give some background information, how optogenetics works, legal issues, any social or ethical concerns, and I will relate this to your grade 12 biology class. To start things off with a little bit of background information. Starting in February of 2004, I had a vision to cure blindness. I thought, what if I put a light-sensitive protein into the eye? Could that restore the vision? I shined light on a retina neuron in a dish and recorded some electrical activity from the channel rhodopsin. Channel rhodopsin is a protein made by green algae. It acts as a light sensor. The long and short of it is basically light is used to control the activity of the neurons. The testing has been done only on animals as of now. It is still unsure if the procedure would work on humans. So optogenetics is a neuromodulation device. Optogenetics includes targeting a certain neuron or a certain group of cells. The neurons and cells don't just react to the light on their own. They need something that can transmit the light. This is where channel rhodopsin comes in. This protein acts as a light sensor for the neuron and the cells. What channel rhodopsin does is it moves ions through ion channels. If the light is the correct wavelength, then it will open the ion channels, allowing them to open and let ions enter the membrane. Now, you may be wondering how exactly do you make sure the light directly impacts the correct spots? A laser is fired off of a reflective surface, which then redirects the light ray into a fiber optic cable, which creates a direct beam of light that can be used to impact the neurons or cells more directly. Once the light has opened the ion channels and enough positive ions have flowed through, a threshold is reached, and this causes the neurons to react and fire. Now the fiber optic cable needs to be placed into the subject. What they do to connect the fiber optic cable is simply place it into the animal's skin on top of their head. Once the fiber optic cable is correctly connected, it can begin to start firing light into it. There are many advantages to this technique. Many scientists believe, and even I believe, that this technique can one day cure blindness. It can even cure disease progression and symptoms. As of now, this technique has been used on an animal to successfully cure Parkinson's disease as well as Alzheimer's. It has not been fully tested yet, but it is believed that it can help regain motor functions if someone suffered a spinal injury. A disadvantage of this technique would be that various neurons can be more responsive to light than others. Since this is true, light could possibly make the neurons react in a way that they aren't supposed to. According to a study by Stanford Medical Center for Biomedical Ethics states that as of now there are no legal issues with the technique. They believe that in the future, though, there may be some laws set in place as the technique becomes more advanced. These laws are expected to be set in place when more tests begin to occur in humans and not only in animals. A social and ethical concern is that you could change someone's behavior with the optogenetics. This could be achieved by training neurons to fire under certain conditions so it become like an involuntary response. I agree that this could be a major issue. The technique should not be used to change someone's behavior, it should only be used to modify physical injuries. It would be very unethical to change someone's behavior because the way someone behaves makes that person who they are. So, to relate optogenetics to the grade 12 biology course, there is a whole chapter that relates to optogenetics in a way. Chapter 8. This chapter was known as the nervous system chapter, where we learned all about homeostasis in the human body, neurons in the nervous system, the brain in the central nervous system, and the peripheral nervous system. Now, this relates to 3 out of the 4 parts of this chapter. It does not relate to homeostasis. Since optogenetics deals with the firing of neurons, it is directly related to the nervous system and brain. In the body, neurons are fired when an electrical impulse or signal are sent from the brain. This happens involuntarily, and it is constantly happening whenever you move or do anything. The only differences are that optogenetics is not involuntary, and the neurons only fire once the blue light hits. This relates to optogenetics because it is controlling neurons and how they fire. Once the blue light hits the dendrites of the neuron, it will then be sent down the neuron just as an electrical impulse and signal would be. From dendrites, it travels down the axon. From dendrites, it travels down the axon and then all the way to the axon terminal, where it either connects to another neuron or a muscle. The main areas where optogenetics is being tested is in the brain and the central and peripheral nervous systems. Since optogenetics has cured Alzheimer's in a rat, as well as spinal injuries and diseases in the spinal cord, this relates to the way signals can be sent from the spinal cord to the brain and then back again. Making the neurons fire at different speeds are what is curing these problems. That is how it relates back to the grade 12 biology course. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.